Is there a shortcut or fast track to enlightenment? This is a question I often get asked, and the answer is yes. The answer is self-love. In this section, I will share my views on self-acceptance and self-love and why they're so essential to awakening, and some practices that can help you cultivate it. One of the greatest blocks to seeing our true nature is self-judgment, the belief that something is wrong with us. We may have heard this habit of self-judgment called the trance of unworthiness. Accepting ourselves just the way we are is a crucial element for enlightenment. If we know that ultimately we are all interconnected as one, then we see that we cannot love anything without simultaneously loving ourselves. The most helpful way to go about learning how to love everything is learning how to unconditionally love ourselves. Most often we live our lives in ways that do not reflect a stance of self-love. Try this simple practice to get started. Whenever you set out to do something, begin by asking the question, how would someone that loves themselves do this? I did this practice for several months, and I noticed that when I would act according to this question, I would act in the world differently. A deeper intelligence would emerge and would direct my actions in that moment. And this deeper intelligence was not driven by egoic fears or desires. When we ask ourselves the question, what would someone who loves themselves do? We often get an immediate answer that emerges from collective consciousness, because collective consciousness is love. The answer you receive comes from this deeper intelligence that is unlimited, it's unconditionally loving. Here's another practice. Look at what you are rejecting within yourselves. So look deeply to discover what aspects of yourself you're rejecting. If any are found, why are they not accepted? And then to learn to accept yourself, you must first be aware of how you reject yourself. You may want to avoid exploring yourself in this way, kind of for fear that you might discover that there's not a lot to love. This is just the egoic mind. Think about the parts of yourself that you wish you could change because you think it would make you more acceptable, more loving, or more worthy. Then take a moment to reflect on the parts of yourself that you wish you could change. Write down those aspects. If you're having troubles identifying them, think about things in other people that irritate you. Often, what we reject in others is a reflection of what we reject in ourselves. This is known as projecting or mirroring in psychology. The ego may try to convince you that these aspects make you unworthy or unlovable, but is this really true? Challenge these beliefs by going through your list and saying to yourself, I am worthy and lovable just the way I am. I am simply deluding myself into believing that I need to change to be happy. Be honest with yourself and notice the transformation that happens when you begin to accept yourself fully without the need to change for external validation. Embrace self-acceptance as a powerful practice of self-love, and let go of the notion that you need to be someone else to be worthy or lovable. You're already worthy and lovable just the way you are. For someone for whom the ego has largely fallen away, who's awake more or less, the notion of self-love can sound kind of contradictory. What exactly are we accepting, and who's doing the accepting, you might ask? I'm not saying to love the imaginary construct of self that's created in the mind. We're not accepting the story about ourselves as a worthy or unworthy person. This would only reinforce the illusory separate self. I am saying that complete, unconditional acceptance arises with awakening, and that this includes self-love and self-acceptance. Unconditional acceptance and love are one and the same. When we see that we are an expression of the ultimate, the absolute, or God, we can accept ourselves. We accept everyone else as well. We accept humanity. We accept the human condition. We realize that I could be that angry person or that impatient person or that homeless person. It is a paradox. When we fully accept who we are, then no ego remains. The ego only remains when there's something to fight against. In this way, radical self-acceptance is the shortcut or the doorway to selflessness or no self. Self-acceptance allows the ego to loosen, while resistance to the ego only feeds the ego. Judging ourselves keeps us from accepting love from others. Through self-acceptance, we can experience more love in our life. By fully accepting ourselves, we come to realize our true identity with the Absolute or God. If we are rejecting any aspect of ourselves, then the ultimate reality cannot show through. This is an obstacle to seeing truth or realizing a non-dual reality. If we reject ourselves, we can really never know ourselves. We cannot know that which we are pushing away. I hope you found this short talk helpful. If you did, please subscribe, hit the like button, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.